This is Wicked Rhody, a wicked good podcast about Rhode Island events and life. Hello, happy June. Welcome. My name's Mary Larson.
And I'm Ben DeCastro. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 140 of the Wicked Rhody podcast. So many great things happening. Mary, this is the point of the year where it's like, no matter where you go, there's an event happening because obviously the weather is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's perfect out. People are in let's go, let's rah-rah summertime, full throttle, full speed ahead.
Yes.
How are the Larson children, Lass and Lad, handling this as we cruise into the end of the school year?
My Lass is clueless because, she's 4, so she has really right. No concept of summer vacation or anything. But, sure. Little Lad, he is in kindergarten. So it's like a big thing. You graduate from kindergarten. They're starting to prep you that your time here at school is ending. Next year, you'll be coming back as a first grader. So, he's pretty pumped for summer. I'm not going to lie. He is not a kid who's like, oh, I wish I could go to school. I mean, he's either asking me, is it Saturday, is it Sunday, or is it summer vacation every single morning? Yeah. So he's ready. He's checked out. I'm just thankful. I know that a lot of people are kind of bummed with the cloudy weather that we've been having, the cooler temperatures we've been having. But as someone who has a child in a public school here in Rhode Island, I am thankful that it has not been muggy and hot because I've been a teacher in these kind of schools before. Let me tell you, it gets stinky. It gets sticky. We started the school year. Remember those 101 degree days? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just thankful that, they're ending the school year so far having it be pretty mild. I mean, this could be a lot more miserable for kids like my son who are ready to have summer vacation start today rather than, the 17th or whenever it actually ends. So things are rocking and rolling, man.
And I don't mean to get political on stuff like this, and you'll see in the news the various school budgets dealing with all sorts of issues, but I mean, this is something I've been talking about for years, when I filled in on various radio stations, and even just in general. Our schools are so old. They really need to, you can't refurbish them. You can't update them anymore. You need to demolish and rebuild.
Agreed.
And give them state-of-the-art learning. I mean, some of these schools are cinder block because that was the way you built them back in the day. Mm-hmm. And there's like steel partitions and stuff. So for sound, and it's so antiquated. Yep. You can't even get a cell phone signal or Wi-Fi signal in some of these places. Yeah. So again, I don't mean to go off on a political or, any kind of governmental rant here, but it's something that's so desperately needed. And you're right, because we start getting to that point where it's too hot in schools. Yep. And the kids aren't paying attention. They're just not. No. They're just not into it, and it's done.
It's the end of the year, exactly. So you make it worse. So here's, without being political, because but we do still have a couple of weeks left here in Rhode Island for school. Obviously, the temperatures are starting to rise. For parents like myself who are concerned, who are like, all right, enough is enough. Whether it's the cinder blocks, whether it's the falling apart, or if it's just the fact that it's hot as Hades in these schools, whether it's beginning or end of school. Who do you think parents should be contacting, since you have kind of been in the talk radio realm where people are able to talk about these things and you might know a little bit more about the political realm? Who do we call?
It's one of these things where the towns individually have the schools, and you have 37 cities and towns, and 39 cities and towns, you have 37 or 35 different school departments. There's just too much redundancy, and it becomes a budgeting nightmare. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, in my opinion, getting the schools to regionalize, making it more efficient, putting schools in a campus-like environment so that it's central, so you can have safety, you can have your offices, everything on one site, and then you can, obviously plan it out a little better. We can't look at a 10 or 20-year plan. We need to be looking at a 50-year plan when it comes to this stuff, because the investment that we need to make, and let's face it, this is education. This is one of the foundation points that
of life
people look at when they're going to move. It's like, okay, what are the schools like in that state or in that city or that region? So That's my little soapbox.
So who do you call? You can't call Ghostbusters. Do you call it?
No,
the
you can't call
committee?
Ghostbusters. No, it starts at the town level.
Okay.
It starts at the municipal level, and from there, it's got to be a long decision. Do they, bond out to build a school? What do they do with the old buildings? How do they adjust? It's a lot. It's expensive. It's an expensive undertaking to build these buildings, and now more than ever, with the safety concerns that are arising all over the place, it's got to be high-end security. It's got to be checkpoints. It's got to be camera systems. It's got to be, mic systems and tied into the police. It gets very expensive. So it's a whole bunch of things that I don't want to turn that into like the whole point of this podcast. No. The point of the podcast is fun, but, at some point, it's something that does need to be addressed.
Agreed.
And now that kids are, getting out of school, we're starting to think about it because, like you said, it is when it's hot in those classrooms. You've taught in them, Mary.
Yes,
you've been in those classrooms. I've visited some of the classrooms just on reading weeks and stuff, but it's just like,
it's crazy.
Oh my goodness,
and stinky.
Yeah. Yep,
You're in middle school like I was.
Well, no matter what you're doing, if you're on the road, maybe you're just spraying Lysol all over your class or Febreze. If you're getting errands done, just listen and enjoy the episode. If you hear something that piques your interest, you can find all the links and info on our website, wickedroadypodcast.com.
So, kids are getting out of school. Maybe you want to get your teacher, you know what I mean? Your teacher an amazing, amazing gift. I mean, they have dealt with stinky kids, loud kids, you name it, they've got it. And if you're like wanting to get together, I know myself, I want to get, whether it's, daycare or regular school, whatever, I want to band up with some other parents and get a really cool gift for a teacher. I think thinking about a float or gift certificate would be great because they offer so many different services. You can get a massage. They can float in the tank and forget that kids even exist on this planet because they can't hear or see anything. There is so much to do. And I'm serious, guys. As someone who is a teacher myself, if you're looking for something, don't get them a scarf. Don't get them a notepad. Band together with some other parents and say, let's all chip in and possibly get them a gift certificate.
Yeah, floating or float therapy. It's a float tank where you spend either 60 or 90 minutes in a private pod. It's got 10 inches of water in it and 850 pounds of Epsom salt, so you literally float. And it's heated to skin temperature, which gives you this anti-gravity environment and allows your body to finally rest and relax. And you can either go with the lid open or closed and, kind of drift off, literally drift off into La La Land and relax. And when you get out of that tank after 60 or 90 minutes, it feels like 4 or 6 hours of sleep. It's amazing. Awesome. So you can learn more about Float by visiting our website and their website, or just check out our social media stuff, and we'll share some of our experiences there.
So Ben, what do you have lined up for our wicked interesting listing this week?
It is already going on. It is PVD Fest. It's technically starting the day of this podcast listening, but there actually was a few events prior to that. But it's PVD Fest down in Providence. This is the 5th year that the mayor, the City of Providence Department of Art, Culture, and Tourism, they partner with First Works RI, and they put this amazing just festival down there. And they have artists, they have events, they have food villages, they have just all sorts of stuff, ways that you can get involved, demonstrations. It's just, it truly is. It's something that if you've never seen it, it's something you got to definitely check out. Our good friends, Bill Bartholomew at Bartholomew Town Podcast, he also has a band, Silverteeth, but they will be podcasting live from PVD Fest on the 8th, so you definitely want to check that out. Of course, that is Saturday night, and it's a wonderful gathering of just arts and culture, just really, oh man, this is something cool. Have you been to this, Mary?
I have. It's unlike anything I've ever been to. I mean, we all know how creative Providence is. We've got an amazing art scene. We've got an amazing music scene. We just have really, really creative people. But it's like downtown shuts down. You will look in one direction and see a spectacular exhibit going on, I mean, of ginormous proportions. And then in another street, there'll be like a musical act going on. I mean, there is just so much. You can honestly get lost in Providence and see things that you've probably never seen downtown before.
No, it's totally cool. So that is happening this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Definitely check it out. Lots of great stuff. And if you're down there on Saturday, be sure to hello to our friends over there at the Bartholomew Town podcast.
So, we talked about PVD Fest, and there's just so much going on with PVD Fest that you have to go and check it out online. But one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that you knew about that's wicked fun here in the 401 is the Mini Maker Fair. This is a place where you can celebrate New England's do-it-yourself. It's all about hands-on making and building and hacking and crafting, things that people are making in their garages, arts, robots, you name it. If you like to make stuff, if your kids like to make stuff, if you're in awe of people who make stuff, this is a gathering that you're going to want to check out. I mean, it's all filled of curious people who just love to share what they do. There's going to be engineers, artists, scientists, crafters, and it's all about showing these hobbies, experiments, and projects going on. So this is actually going to be taking place over a couple of days. It is going to be, let me make sure I'm checking out the dates, but it's going on this weekend, and it is part of the PVD Fest.
Oh, cool.
Activities going on. So as long as you're planning on going to Providence this weekend, you're honestly going to have yourself covered. But the Providence Mini Maker Fair, it's both Saturday and Sunday. Tons of things going on that you can hands-on check out. I mean, all sorts of media. I'm telling you guys, to see what people are able to do with their brains, it's going to blow your mind. So it's
like the greatest show and tell on earth.
Yes, seriously, that's exactly it. It's like adult show and tell, and you can even get your hands dirty in this. I mean, there is going to be all sorts of stuff going on. Mini Maker Fair happening both Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
I like how you took the PVD Fest and then zoomed right in on something very specific of it. I think that's key because there's a lot of elements to it.
Yeah.
Something that's not happening at PVD Fest, so it's in a different part of the state. It's the second annual D Strong 5K obstacle run. Of course, this is going to be it's everything and more. So it's for the whole family. Mm-hmm. There will be mini golf, horseshoes, a junior Ninja Warrior style course,
awesome.
Face painting, music by Under Surveillance and the Innkeepers Band. This will be taking place at the Boneyard Barbecue in Ashaway. I think that's down like in the Westerly area. Like that's like right on that Westerly line-ish area. But they'll be open for food and drinks. They have plenty of seating. And look, should it be poor weather? Oh well. They got plenty of stuff inside.
They got you.
It doesn't have to be. And if it's outside in the rain, who cares? All to help raise funds for D Strong, which is just a wonderful organization. Of course, we all know the Dorian J. Murray story. That foundation right there is just doing wonderful things. So check that out. And runners will receive a T-shirt and beverage in the whole race element of it. So check that out. Happening on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Boneyard Barbecue Ashway, second annual D Strong 5K obstacle run.
Awesome. One of the great things about this season is that you can go and see fantastic music for free outside. I mean, everyone just wants to spend time outside, right? You pack a picnic dinner, whether you go to the beach, you go check out things in the city. Well, there's going to be a bunch of concerts in the parks all over the different, places over the state. But in East Providence, if you're in that area of the state, they're going to be having some at the Loof Carousel. Do I say that right? There's two O's. Good. And I'm always like, is this what's going on? Yeah. So all of the concerts this season are going to be taking place at 6 p.m. unless, otherwise noted. But it's pretty much happening every single week on Thursday. So Thursday, they're kicking it off.
We'll have to ask Little Foster Man because the way he says nose is noof.
Ooh, I like that.
The point would be noof. I think it's the cutest thing. Of course, I shouldn't be encouraging him to say the wrong thing, but he'll figure it out by the time he's 10, I'm sure.
You go. So, there you go, right?
There you go.
Noof. I love it.
Noof.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's so weird how he says it, too, like the way his cheeks kind of form out and he's got these big lips.
Oh, my gosh.
So, anyway,
right.
It's adorable.
It is.
You know what else? You know what else is adorable is the Newport Car Museum. Talk about just something that makes you go, aww. It's their Hoods Up weekend. Now, this is the thing with the Newport Car Museum. If you've ever been there, most of the cars, the hoods are closed because people want to take photos of them and see the sleek look and everything. Well, this weekend, they actually open the hoods of the cars, so it's a totally different experience. And in some cases, they actually put mirrors so you can see areas that you may not be able to see without getting super up close and possibly, touching the cars, which they, by and large, they don't want you doing. That's why it's a museum. But this is really cool. This is such a happening place. Can I tell you something? I know people who have gone there and they just randomly run into Jay Leno at the museum because he's got a Newport house. The car museum is right there on West Main Road in Portsmouth, so it's on the island, and he likes to go there because he's a big gearhead. He's huge into these cars, and people just see him there. He's just kind of like walking around like, oh yeah, I just want to see it. I can't do the impression like Brendan
just chilling,
does.
Man.
Yeah, but he just he loves it. But it's a Hoods Up weekend. They do it a couple times a year. This weekend is it. Definitely something to check out, and it's a great museum to check out just in general. Perfect, by the way, super perfect for the older folks.
Ah, nice. So what do you have for the younger folks going on for a Wicked Family Friendly pick?
We have an amazing weekend happening over at the Paw Sox. First off, Friday night, 2-for-1 doubleheader. Making up games is what we do right now because we had a lot of rain earlier this year. So at 5 o'clock, the first game will start. Mookie Betts bobblehead for the first, couple thousand people who get there, so you definitely want to check that out. The website has the information. Saturday night is one of the biggest fireworks shows because it's Star Wars fireworks.
Nice.
Which always sells out. I think there's very limited tickets available. If you're listening to this on Saturday, folks, you may have already missed out on the ticket being available. But it's certainly something to check out. You can come dressed up. Many people do. Sunday, fun day, pregame catch on the field, postgame run the bases. It's all there right at pawsox.com. It's one of the best bargains out there for fun and enjoyment in the Ocean State.
It's very cool. So we've talked about all these different events that people can check out, whether you're going and you're listening to Star Wars and you're cheering on the Paw Sox, or you're going to Providence Peabody Fest. But this is the time of year, my friends, when you might want to sail away on the Block Island Ferry. Take a trip down to paradise.
Wow.
Hey.
Look at you.
Old school.
Might as well just have had the jingle going on there. Sail away on the Block Island Ferry. I do not know the words to this.
You don't know all the words to the Block Island Ferry?
No, I'm sorry. I'm a horrible
Sail away, person. Block Island awaits you.
That one.
Yeah, I got you, man. Now, here's a question. Here's a real oldie. Do you know the old Rocky Point theme song?
You can come with your family, come with your friends. It's a summertime tradition because it
was like Rocky Point.
Rocky Point tradition because it's summertime. Yeah, Rocky Point. Well, you could come alive, Rocky Point. It's so exciting.
There you go.
Share the summertime, Rocky Point.
Yes.
Eat, ride, throw up is the theme over there.
Oh gosh.
But sorry,
Block Island.
Let's get you back on Block Island. And by the way, shout out to Block Island. I know we don't talk about them a lot, but they are part of Rhode Island. New Shoreham, as it might be referred to in the old history books. But Block Island Restaurant Week is offering you a chance to sample delicious menus from many of the island's best dining establishments. Menus will feature 2-course lunches for $15 and 3-course dinners for $29. There's printed menus available at the Chamber of Commerce offices, but this all starts on June 10th. It goes for the week. Folks, this is not something you want to miss. If you're looking for take a day off next week.
Yes.
Just do it. Take a day off and go to Block Island. Hop on the ferry. So many wonderful restaurants there, and just have a good time. Why not?
Yes, life is short, man. You gotta live it up. People don't need to know why you're taking your personal day. Take it, sail away down to paradise, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's personal. Go for it. So check that out. It's Block Island's Restaurant Week, hosted by Block Island.
So we want to remind you that, of course, we here at Wicked Rhody, we are super proud to partner with the United Way of Rhode Island to help spread the word about different ways that you, your family, your friends can volunteer. So we wanted to remind you there's a couple of things that could still use assistance. They're still looking for some volunteers. Blythewald. Guys, if you haven't taken a trip to Blythewald, you need to. And it is one of the most beautiful places here in the state. They're seeking volunteer people to just greet visitors, maybe provide information. The shifts are 3 to 4 hours between, within the working day of 9:45 to 4 p.m., Tuesday through Sunday. And if you are 16 or older, they're looking for you. So say you have a high school student who needs to get some volunteer work in, and they just like to be in beautiful historical buildings. This would be the thing for them. Or if you yourself just want to spend some time in the Van Winkle McKee family property, this will be your jam.
Wow. The Ronald McDonald House Providence, which provides temporary housing for the families of hospitalized children, they're looking for family room volunteers to register families, restock supplies, and monitor facilities usage. Family room is in the Hasbro Children's Hospital. It's open daily 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The shifts of 4 hours. And the actual house itself, which is right across the street, they're looking for volunteers to help clean, check in families, and perform office tests. They ask that you make a 1-year commitment because they do have to train you, and there are different shifts from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. In addition, they need volunteers to help purchase food and prepare evening meals for up to 32 people. So just reach out to the house. It is a wonderful thing for, I'm not going to say all families because, it can be kind of heavy and tough over there. But this is a perfect thing also for offices and businesses to get involved and do something amazing over at the Ronald McDonald House in Providence. If you want to learn more about the United Way of Rhode Island, which brings you all these amazing opportunities, or if you're in need of assistance, you can visit their website or simply dial 211 and get connected to the help you need. All right, folks, as we said at the beginning, everything we talked about today can be found on our website, wickedroadypodcast.com.
We'd love to check in with you on social media. We love to be social. We know that you do too. And let's be real. When you're at PVD Fest, you're going to be snapping tons of photos. And if you are at PVD Fest, or if you're at Block Island, if you're doing any of the things that we mentioned on this podcast, we would love for you to share it in your story and to use the hashtag WickedRhody to tag Wicked Rhody. Let people know that this podcast is here. It's free. It's here to help get the word out. So thank you so much for sharing. For those of you who do, for those of you who use the hashtag, you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Awesome. If you're looking to get your message directly into the ears of our listeners, email us, wickedroadypodcast@gmail.com, or reach out to us on Facebook. We'd love to chat with you.
That's right. Well, until next time, folks, my name's Mary Larson.
And I'm Ben DeCastro.
And you've been listening to Wicked Rhody. We'll have more for you next Thursday.